What is up, everyone? Inside of this video, we're going to be talking about reprogramming your subconscious mind to achieve success inside of trading. Now, I'm going to be using my whiteboard for this, but I talk a lot about, subconscious, belief shifting, all of these things. And in this video, I want to kind of show you guys with, a whiteboard and kind of a guide so you guys can see better visually on how to do that. Now for this, I will be using TradingView as my whiteboard. But the thing I want you to think about, right? I just made a TikTok about this, but if I gave you $1 million right now, I'm like, okay, bro, I really like what you're doing. I believe in you, and I want to give you some money. If I gave you $1 million right now, I guarantee that, especially if you don't have the right frame of subconsciousness, if you were trying to trade with this money right here, you would not be able to keep it. You would actually lose it all, whether that be quickly or pretty slowly. You would lose this money. Now, why would you lose this money? Now, we could say, on one hand, that you'll lose the money because you do not have enough skill. You don't have enough skill to keep the money. You don't really know how to trade. You don't really know how to invest. But let's say you do know how to trade, you know how to invest too. But subconsciously, you don't believe in yourself that you can manage this type of money. What would you see yourself doing? What would happen? You would start to self-sabotage. You will start to be greedy. You will start to be fearful. And fear is one of the biggest emotions that people don't realize that they have, but is actually really stopping them from achieving the success that they want to achieve, and they really don't realize it. Because whether it even be trading or a new venture or some sort of unknown, fear, that feeling of fear is what creates doubt, and doubt stops your dreams, and it stops you from moving forward. But you would feel fear if you had this much money, you know how to trade, but you don't have the proper, beliefs. And what is a belief? A belief? Our belief is, it's just a thought. It's an emotion. It's what you feel to be true. What you feel to be true about this reality. So, our beliefs are what create our reality. All of them. If we go back to the $1 million example, if you have a certain belief, this is the subconscious programming that I'm talking about. If you have a belief that money is bad, like money has never been something that you've been able to get. It's always been something that's been super far. Sorry about that, guys. I have somewhat of allergies sometimes, but this is raw, so I'm not cutting it out. But if you have a belief that money is like super bad, that you've never been able to get it, that has always been something that's been far away from you, then you will not be able to ever get it. Why? Because you always fall down to the level of your beliefs. Because belief, right? Going back to our money example, beliefs form our identity. They form who we are. Like, if you guys do not realize it, you are just a bunch of beliefs a lot of the times put together. And you will always fall down to the level of that belief. So an example would be the money. I'm going back to this money example. The $1 million, right? I give you $1 million. You have a belief that I can't keep money. This forms into your identity. You think of yourself as a person who cannot keep money. So that shapes your identity, and that shapes your walk of life. Example would be going to the gym. I am not a gym goer. Or you have a belief that you can't go to the gym, and then you then associate it with yourself. That becomes your new identity. Your identity perceives how you see life and how you walk into life in different places. You carry these beliefs everywhere you go, and you enact through them without even knowing it. And even if you try to get out of this belief, right? Let's say you're like, okay, I know about this belief. You know, the worst beliefs are the ones that we do not know about, but the ones we do know about, right? Let's say you know about this money belief. You try to get out of it now. You're like, okay, I know about this belief. Let me try and be better now, right? But you're always going to fall back to it, right? As long as this belief is there, as long as the belief that you can't handle $1 million, you can't handle money, you're going to fall back to it. You're going to fall back to it every time. You're going to try and be different. You're going to fall back to it. And you see this with a lot of traders, right? And a lot of just people in general. Like, they try to become more than their beliefs. They try to shift their beliefs, or they try to do it by force, right? But they can't seem to get out of it. It's like somebody who's addicted to a certain substance, and they can't stop because their belief in it is too strong. And this life isn't one that's like judgmental. I think like life is neutral at times, and if you say that this is your belief, life is gonna respond to you like, okay, this is your belief. I'm gonna give you, situations and things that are in correlation with your belief. So, in order to change our identity, we have to change the whole entire structure of our beliefs. But hold that thought. How are these beliefs even formed? Because before we can change the belief, we have to realize, we have to go back and see where it was formed at. So a lot of times, these beliefs are formed inside of childhood. Our childhood, and just life in general, right? In childhood, what do we learn a lot? I say this a lot of times. We were taught ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but one key thing that happened during childhood that you probably didn't notice is that there was a lot of repetition. Repetition. When a baby's really young, you repeat a lot of things into that baby because you wanted to get inside of its subconscious mind. Because beliefs are formed through repetition. Think about it. If I just told you, right, that something's real, or like something, I'm trying to think. I can think of a good one. If I told you that there was a man on the moon, right? The first time you're not going to believe it, right? But let's say I keep saying that to you for years. At a certain point, something in your mind is going to start to believe it a little because I've repeated it inside of your mind a whole bunch of times. Or I've repeated to you that you have to keep money in your wallet just for bad situations, right? There's no facts behind this. There's no nothing. I just said, okay, you have to keep money in your pocket because bad situation might come. You're going to believe that. You're going to keep putting money in your pocket, especially if I repeat it a whole bunch of times to you. And I mean repeat like in terms of years. Like not just a day or two. Every single day I'm repeating the same thing to you. You're going to start to believe it. That's exactly what happened during our childhood. So a lot of these beliefs that we got from when we were younger become solid. Become very solid inside of our heads. And we start to think that, oh yeah, that must be true. Like, think about the fabric of our society, right? You see, one thing I like to think about a lot is like young people making a lot of money nowadays, right? You see 18-year-old millionaires. You see 17-year-old millionaires. Self-made. I'm not even talking about trust fund. I'm talking about self-made millionaires. I'm talking about young people making a lot of money. And this used to not be so. A logical thinking mind, a lot of our beliefs, especially as a society, will tell us that's not possible. Like, you're supposed to go to school, get a good job, and then work. There's no way you're at $1 million at the age of like 20, 21, 22, or even 18. The framework is that is not possible, but that is a whole belief in itself. That is a whole belief that stops a lot of people from making money because they believe that isn't even possible. And that goes into their identity where they won't even though they see it, they still don't believe it, right? There's this story, right, about the guy who ran the first mile in under 5 minutes. Under 5 minutes, a guy ran a full mile. Before then, nobody ever believed that you could run a mile under 5 minutes. They thought that thing was impossible, right? They thought it was so impossible. It's like, bro, there's no way you're running a mile under 5 minutes. There is no way you are running a mile under 5 minutes. And then he did it. He did it. And then everybody was like, what? Bro just ran a mile in under 5 minutes. And then everybody started to do it. And the next thing you know, world records are being broken all of the time. And now it's a normal thing to be able to run a mile under 5 minutes. But at a certain time, that was taboo because of the beliefs. And sometimes I really wonder, like, what would we be able to do if we were just able to shift our beliefs? If everybody knew they could change their beliefs, what imaginations would come to life? How many things would we be able to do if we just stopped getting inside of our own way, saying that things don't exist, and actually believing that they do, and believing in ourselves too? Like, what would the possibilities be? Because even in like going back to our beliefs now, right? The example I just had with the young people making money, right? People still don't believe it's possible, even though they see young people making a lot of money. This is what they tell themselves. They're like, oh, he must be a scammer. He must be a grifter. He must be a trust fund kid. And some of these things might be true. But every truth is dang near half truth at times. And it probably isn't for a lot of people, right? But your mind, like a lot of people's mind, refuse to accept it. So what about the beliefs that we haven't even came across yet, right? These are beliefs that we see. Like you see people making money. But what about the 5 minute mile example where like you don't even see that? Like there's something you haven't even seen before, but it's possible. It's possible, but you just haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? So beliefs are so powerful, right? And I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper. I'm gonna dive even deeper. And I'm gonna talk about why beliefs are powerful. Beliefs are powerful because our beliefs come from one thing. God has granted us with imagination. That's what I like to call it. Imagination. And imagination is what creates our society. And we don't even know it. When we're younger, right? We believe in anything. Our imagination is anything. Like we can imagine anything. And what is imagination? Imagination is just the thought, right? It's your thoughts, being able to think about something that might be in a reality, might not even exist, and being able to feel, touch, and breathe life into it. That's what I believe imagination is. It's God's grant to us as a as a future, or it's God's gift to us to be able to kind of like see the future or kind of envision a future or envision something. That is what God has granted to us. He's granted us immense imagination. When we're younger, we imagine a lot of things, but when we get older, we turn off these imaginations, right? And a lack of belief kills your imagination. Lack of belief kills it. It kills this imagination that you have inside of you. Because once you stop believing, you stop imagining, you stop visualizing. You say, okay, I can't do this anymore. My imagination is flawed. It's just what? It's just a dream. This is what we label things. We say, okay, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just an imagination. It can't come to life. But dreams come true. Dreams most certainly come true. We have seen a lot of times where before somebody even achieves something of great heights, they say these words that they imagined it inside of their mind. They imagined it. They visualized it. They saw the thing. They touched it. They felt it. They breathed life into it. And then the thing came through, and they kept their belief inside of the thing until it came to reality. So, lack of belief kills your imagination. So, with all this, right, I just spilled a whole bunch of sauce on you guys. And now I'm going to break down how can you change your belief, right? How can you change your beliefs, which would then change your whole entire subconscious and be able for you to manage, if it's trading, be able to, for you to manage money, manage success, manage everything inside of your life that you're not able to. And I've witnessed this firsthand. I've done this, right? I used to lose tons of money trading, right? I wouldn't be able to keep it because of fear, because of, like I said, I was fearful when I got the money. I used to feel a range of emotions. Like, I can't speak it as well as I felt it at the time. And it used to really get to me because I'm like, why can't I keep this money? Funded account. Remember Futures Funding account? I used to get a lot of accounts. I could show you the amount of top step accounts that I've blown. Like, literally. I used to get those accounts, blow them, even after getting funded. And I used to be so much fear, so much these feelings, these intense feelings, right? And one thing that I realized after that I shifted my beliefs, was that all those feelings went away. all of those, intense feelings went away. So I am like living proof of this happening. So what did I do? What can you do? And what have others done? So the number one thing that you can do is repetition. 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 And I'm going to add something here. Repetition through feeling. You need to feel. You need to start feeling again like you're a child. Because the world has told us to turn off our imagination. You need to turn it back on. So the first thing is repetition, right? And the way I do repetition is through affirmation. But not just any affirmation like they teach you, like, oh, I am wealthy. I am making $100,000 a year. It's like, no, wait. When you say those words, right, don't just say them without feeling. Because what did we tell you before? Like, feeling is imagination, right? We feel into our imagination. If we feel into it, right, that's where the real change occurs. Because when you feel, you're feeling the emotion of already having the thing that you are saying, and you're bringing it to the present moment. And that repetition is what changes our subconscious mind over time, because the subconscious mind is neutral. It's going to believe what you tell it, and especially what you feel into it. So the first one is feeling. You have to start feeling while you are repeating. Every single day. I want you to wake up. I want you to wake up every single day inside of the morning. I want you to write a list of affirmations around wealth, about managing money, and about being a very good trader and investor. I want you to write down 50 of these, right? 50 of these affirmations before you go to sleep and before you wake up. I want you to say these affirmations to yourself with a level of feeling. A level of feeling behind them as if they've already happened. The second thing is visualization. Now, the reason I said before you go to sleep, right, is because the subconscious mind is most active when we are in rest, right? So it's very important about what you listen to while you are going to sleep, because the active mind kind of like shuts down during sleep, and the subconscious mind is just listening to new information, right? And I've tried this before. I've done this a whole bunch of times, right? Where the subconscious mind literally is getting your beliefs while you're sleeping. And you're going to notice slowly, right, with consistency, as you are waking up inside of the morning, you're going to start feeling better and better and better. And the belief that you once had, the voice, is going to start going away. It's going to start fading, especially with time. So the next thing is visualization or imagination. You need to, every single day, you need to visualize you doing the thing, or imagine you doing the thing. So when you say I am wealthy, imagine yourself being wealthy. What would that look like? Where would that be? What are some things you would do? How would you walk? How would you talk? What are some, get some pictures, right? Look at those pictures before you go to sleep. Have a vision board, because these things are powerful. And even more, feel it. Like, feel it inside the present moment. You can feel these things. Feel it tangibly inside the present moment, especially before you go to sleep, when you wake up. These are the most powerful. Like, even though they're so simple, but just like the beliefs were formed when you are a child, they are going to reform themselves, reshape themselves, and you're going to rip out the old beliefs that are stuck and destroy them. Not change them, not try to change the beliefs, not try to run away from them like we talked about and keep getting snapped back into them. You're going to change the whole structure of the whole belief. And then, you know what this does? You know what this does when a new belief gets formed? A new belief gets formed, right? This is what it does. It first changes your habits, right? It first changes your habits. Your habits lead to new routines, and your routines lead to a whole new identity. I forgot about habits and routines, but yeah, it first changes your habits. It then goes into your routine, bruh. You get it into your routine, and then you become a whole new person. You have a whole new identity. A whole new identity. You get a whole other identity once you change it. But it all starts with changing the belief first. You have to rip that belief out, and then you will become a whole new person. People will look at you. They'll be like, weren't you a person who did this and this? But the belief itself has changed. So then your identity has changed too. But I hope you guys got a whole bunch of value from this video, and I hope you guys liked it. Change your belief, change your reality, change your identity. And I will see you guys inside the next video. If you have any comments, comment down below. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can click on that link down below as well. See you guys.